Hello, it's Jane again at Fired For You. This is video number 3 on how to make a thumb pot squeeze pot bowl. So here's the bowl I've already made, and it's all nice and smooth now, and if I lift it up gently you'll be able to see profile shape of how it's looking. Okay, if I move my hands like that, so it's still soft. So I'm going to show you how to apply some decoration. So if you want some raised 3D pieces, which I'm going to use little cutters for, I'm just going to move this to the side. I've got a piece of clay here that is flat, but it's still too thick. So I'm just going to take it out of the plastic wrap there and put it onto the material and use my rolling pin and gently, you probably want to be sort of 1/4 of a centimetre in thickness or a little bit thinner than that, depending on how fine a detail you want. Just flip it over. If it's really wet, then you need to handle it more carefully. This is dried a little bit, but it's still malleable, so it's fine. So you can never really tell how thick it is until you pick up, so that's probably still a little bit too thick, so I'm just going to flip it over again. Clay doesn't roll out from the top, the pressure doesn't go right the way through it always, so you need to keep turning it over and turning it round gently. Unlike pastry where you'd want to handle it as little as possible, when you're rolling it out this needs a little bit more rolling than that. And just keep your pressure either side of your rolling pin or in the centre if you want to make it longer, just so you can control the thickness and you don't end up with waves in it, and keep it nice and flat. Okay, so that might do. I've got some cutters here. I'm going to do a mix of flowers, hearts and stars, so I'm going to create something a little bit different. So I'll take those out. Maybe have squares for a change. Okay, so I'm going to cut my first piece out, push it in, give it a wiggle, lift it up very gently, don't push too hard, slide your fingers down. Can you see I'm just pushing gently in the corner till it starts easing out, because you don't want the dimple of your finger going in, so just take your time and just ease it out so it stays nice and flat. Okay, so that, you can see the thickness there, probably still wants to be a little bit thinner, so I'll put a little bit more pressure on here. Oops, hang on to your rolling pin, so bring it down the material a bit so you can see I've got a bit more space to roll it. Give it a push, there we go, that should do it. Okay, so I'm going to have a square, I'm going to have a little flower, and we'll have a heart. We need a bit of love at the moment, don't we? So here we go, heart and star. Ease those out, there we go. Now I'm going to do the next size down, shapes, heart, put the heart by the heart, square by square. I'm probably going to mix and match them, and use a little finger, and it's good not to have long nails. So you pop those out. What have we got? We need the flower. And pop that one out. Keep it there. And we just might have another one of those. Other ones, smaller ones. There we go. So even smaller heart there. A finger go in there, just, if it won't, if you catch a tool and just use it gently just to prise them out a wee bit there. There we go. And I want another middle size heart. And a star. And a square. And if you don't use all this rolled out, if you wrap it up again in a bag, spray it with a little bit of water, it will stay wet for a while. So there we go. Okay, so I'm going to take my heart here and I'm going to get some slips. So this is what I've made earlier, and you can use a brush or a tool, and I'm going to just put a little bit on here. I'm going to pop the star directly onto top of there. You can cross hatch it before you do this if you want to, and also around the edges of the pieces that you've cut out. If you just run a wet finger around them just to smooth them out. So when it fires, all this rough edge won't vanish, so just make sure those rough bits disappear. And think about what you're going to do when you paint it, because when you come to paint it, you need to be able to get into all these little gaps. So I'm going to arrange this so it's going to flow on the inside as a bit of decoration. So I'm just going to do some crosses here. This tool, I'm not going in too deep, and then I'm going to put some crosses across the back of this heart here.